course is right.
I would say it's one spiteful contradiction. Did your lady come away? Simply frightful.
Simply frightful.
Such a pretty wedding, we have made a pretty wedding. Such a pretty wedding. Such a pretty wedding. Such a charming wedding. If her dress is badly fitting, there's the fault who'll make the trousseau. If her gloves are always fitting, cheap kid gloves we know will do so. If upon her train she stumbles, on one's train one's always treading. If her hair is rather tumbled, still 'twill be a pretty wedding. Such a pretty wedding.
Such a very, very pretty wedding.
Won't it be a pretty wedding? We have made a pretty wedding. Such a pretty wedding. Such a pretty wedding. Such a charming wedding.
Here they come, the couple lighting. On life's journey gaily started.
Made for united, till divorce or death do part them. And made for united, till divorce or death shall part them.
Here they come, the couple lighted. Pretty Lisa, fair and tasty, tell me not, tell me truly. Haven't you been rather hasty? Haven't you been rash unduly? Am I quite the dashing sposo that your fancy could depict you? Perhaps you think me only so, but I will not contradict you.
No, he will not contradict you. To raise objection, I'm a child of taught and homely. When you tell me your affection, take the truth for what come me, that in quarrel moments wonder, though dissensions always give you right, my love, you're so much older, that of course I must believe you. Yes, of course, she must believe you. If he ever acts unkindly, shut your mouth and love him blindly. Should he call you names uncomely, shut your mouth and love him dumbly. Should he rate you rightly, leftly, shut your ears and love him deafly. Thus and thus alone, Ludwig's wife may hold her own. Thus and thus alone, Ludwig's wife may hold her own.
Hello, surely I'm not late. Dear, you're all at breakfast. Has the wedding taken place? One at a time, I beg. As solicitor to the conspiracy to dethrone the Grand Duke, I am invited to the marriage of two of its members. I present myself in due course, and I find not only that the ceremony has taken place, which is not of the least consequence, but that the wedding breakfast is half eaten, which is a consideration of the most serious importance.
But the ceremony has not taken place. We can't get a pass.
You can't get a pass. Why, how's that there? 3 a penny.
Oh, it's the same story. The Grand Duke. It seems the little imp has selected this, our wedding day, for a convocation of all the clergy in the town to settle the details of his approaching marriage with the enormously wealthy Baroness von Krakenfeld. And there's not a parson to be had for love or money until 6 o'clock this evening.
And as we produce our magnificent classical revival of Troilus and Cressida tonight at 7, we have no alternative but to eat our wedding breakfast before we've earned it.
I should like to pull his grand ducal ears for him, that I should. He's the meanest, the cruelest, the most spiteful little ape in Christendom. Well, we shall soon be freed from his tyranny. Tomorrow the despot is to be dethroned.
Hush, rash girl.
Don't be absurd, we're all in it.
Know ye not that in alluding to our conspiracy without having first given and received the secret sign, you are violating a fundamental principle of our association? By the mystic regulation of our dog association, here in open conversation, so you must eat a sausage roll.
You must eat a sausage roll, a sausage roll.
If the journey eats another, it's a sign that he's a brother. Each may fully trust the other. It is point and it is throw, but it's bilious on the whole.
Very bilious on the whole.
It's a greasy kind of pasty, which perhaps a judgment hasty I consider rather tasty. Once to speak without disguise, it found favour in our eyes.
It's for favour in our eyes.
But when you put 6 months feeding, as we have on this exceeding bilious food, it's no ill breeding if at these repulsive pies our offended gorgeous rise.
These repulsive pies, our offended gorgeous rise.
Gorgeous rise, gorgeous
But by the mystic regulation of our dark association, there you open conversation with another kindred soul. You must eat a sausage roll.
You must eat a sausage roll, a sausage roll.
A sausage roll, a sausage roll, a roll, a sausage roll, a sausage roll.
Oh, bother the secret sign! I've eaten it until I'm quite uncomfortable. I gave it 6 times already today, and I can't eat any breakfast.
Oh, this is rank treason to the cause. I suffer as much as any of you. I loathe the repulsive thing. I can't contemplate it without a shudder, but I am a conscientious conspirator. And if you won't give the secret sign, I will.
Poor Martha. He's always at it, and it's a wonder where he puts it.
Well now, how about Troilus and Cressida? What do you claim?
Oh, thank you, my love, it's gone. Well, the piece will be produced upon a scale of unexampled magnificence. It is confidently predicted that my appearance as King Agamemnon in a Louis XIV wig will mark an epoch in the theatrical annals of Prophenic Prophenic. I endeavored to persuade our manager, Ernest Doomkopf, to lend us the classical dresses for our marriage. Imagine the effect of a real Athenian wedding procession cavorting through the streets of Speisesaal. Torches burning, cymbals banging, flutes tootling, citharae twanging, and a throng of 50 lovely Spartan virgins capering before us all down the high street, singing, Eloia, Eloia, Apoponax, Eloia. It would have been tremendous.
And he declined.
He did. On the prosaic ground that it might rain, and the ancient Greeks didn't carry umbrellas. If Ernest Doomkopf is to succeed, the dethroned one, mark my words, he will make a mess of it.
He's sure to be elected. His entire company has promised to plot for him on the condition that all the places about the court are taken by members of his troupe, according to professional precedents. Here comes Ernest Doomkopf. Now we shall know all about it.
Well, what's the news? How is the election going?
Oh, it's a certainty, a practical certainty. 2 of the candidates have been arrested for debt, and the 3rd is a baby in arms. So, if you all keep your promises and vote solid, I am cocksure of election.
But you remember the conditions.
Yes, you shall all be provided for life.
Oh, it's quite clear he knows how to rule a grand duchy.
Rule a grand duchy? My good girl, for 10 years past I have ruled a theatrical company. The man who can do that can rule anything. Were I a king in very truth, and had a son, a guileless youth, in probable succession, to teach him patience, teach him tact, how promptly in a fix to act, he should adopt in point of fact a manager's profession. To that condition he should stoop, despite a truth another, with 8 or 10 stars in his troop, or jealous of each other, or jealous of each other. Oh, the man who can rule a theatrical crew, each member a genius and some of them too, and manage to humor them early and late, can govern this company state.
Oh, the man who can rule a theatrical crew, each member a genius and some of them too, and manage to humor them early and late, can govern the state. Govern the state, peaceful state. Ha ha!
rehearsal slight. They say they'll be all right at night. They both to go to school yet. A seedy chap must change her dress. Dee will attempt to swear the bless. He won't play Romeo unless his grandmother plays Juliet. F claims all Huygens as her rank. She's played them 30 seasons, and G must show herself in tights for 2 convincing reasons. 2 very well-shaped reasons. Oh, the man who can drive a theatrical team with wheelers and leaders and orders supreme can govern and rule the way this is in all Europe and Ireland thrown in.
Oh, the man who can drive a theatrical team with wheelers and leaders and orders supreme can govern and rule the way this is in all Europe and Ireland thrown in.
Promotion indeed. Why, instead of playing Troilus of Troy for a month, I shall play Grand Duke of Fennig-Howd-Fennig for a lifetime. Yet, am I happy? No, far from happy. The lovely English comedienne, the beautiful Julia, whose dramatic ability is so overwhelming that our audiences forgive even her strong English accent. That rare and radiant being treats my respectful advances with disdain unutterable. And yet, who knows? She is haughty and ambitious, and it may be that the splendid change in my fortunes may work a corresponding change in her feelings towards me.
Herr Dunkel, about monsieur, if you please.
Beautiful English maiden.
No compliments, I beg. I desire to speak with you on a purely professional matter.
I only hope shattered.
Now, I understand that the conspiracy in which we are all a part is to happen tomorrow, and that the company is likely to elect you to the throne on the understanding that the posts about the court are to be filled with members of your theatrical troupe according to their professional importance.
That is so.
Then all I can say is that it places me in an extremely awkward position.
Oh. Well, I don't see how it concerns you.
Do you not see that as your leading lady, I am bound under a serious penalty to play the leading part in all of your productions?
Well?
For the leading part in this production would be the Grand Duchess.
My wife?
That is another way of expressing the same idea.
I scarcely dare to even hope for this.
Of course, as your leading lady, you'll be mean enough to hold me to the terms of my agreement.
She's mine. Don't you really think that you would care to play this part?
Care to play it? Certainly not, but what am I to do? Business is business, and I am bound by the terms of my agreement.
And you think the part of the Grand Duchess would be good enough for you?
Oh, I think so. It's a very good part in Gerolstein, and oughtn't to be a bad one in Fennig-Howd-Fennig.
Remember, it is a strongly emotional part, involving long and repeated scenes of rapture, tenderness, adoration, devotion, all in luxuriant excess, and all in the most demonstrative description.
You can be quite sure that however distasteful the part may be, if I undertake it, I will consider myself professionally bound to throw myself into it with all the ardor at my command.
I'm the happiest fellow alive. Now, would you have any objection to give me an idea, if it were only a mere sketch of how you would play it? It would be really interesting to me to know the conception of the part of my wife.
How would I play it? How would I play this part? The Grand Duke's bride, all rancor in my heart, I'd duly hide. I'd drive it from my recollection, and value these a mock affection, well calculated to defy detection. That's how it pleases part. The Grand Duke's bride, this many a winsome smile, I'd reach and woo, this gay and girlish guile, I'd frenzy succeed. I'd push the forward chain, I would indeed. This jealous frenzy agitated, which would of course be simulated. I'd make a wishing never been created. I'd make a wishing never been created. I'd make a wishing never been created. Did any other make this you succeed? And should there come to me some summers hence, in all the childish glee of innocence, fair babes, the glorious beauty vernal, my heart would bound with joy, Diana. This sweet display of sympathy maternal, theirs that would also be a mere pretense. My history I'll make out, so you deride. That's how I play that part, the Lord Duke's bride.
Joy, when her husband arrives off the curtain, must throw himself into the path of success is no certain. If the road were prepared to go down, such delicate touches. But then, as well as I know, you shall be my grand duchess.
It's the road and prepared to indulge such delicate touches.
But the heaven of all I know, who shall be my grand duchess?
It's all your fault, it will be you love all being discriminated.
I don't know where to go, it's put me into such a tense.
Put me into such a tete.
Yes, at all events, I know the sooner we are off the better.
Yes, the sooner of the better, yes, the sooner of the better.
What means this agitato? What ye seek? As your grand duke elect, I bid you speak. 10 minutes since I met in chapel, now an easy salutation. Thinks I, this gentleman, mayhap belongs to our association. But on the whole uncertain, yet a sausage roll I took and ate. That chap replied, I don't embellish by eating 3 with obvious relish. Gracious, gracious powers,
Gracious powers, no charm of us could eat 3 sausage rolls with relish. No charm of us could eat 3 sausage rolls with relish.
Then reassured I let him know our punch incident explaining. That stranger chuckled much as though he thought me highly entertaining. I told him all both bad and good, I bade him call, he said he would. I added much the more I muttered, the more that chuckling Charlie chuckled. That could see, he couldn't be a chum of ours if he chuckled. He couldn't be a chum of ours if he chuckled. Well, as I bowed to his applause, down dropped he with hysteric bellow. And that seemed right enough, because I am a devilish funny fellow. And suddenly, as still he squealed, it flashed on me that I'd revealed our plot with all details effective. To Grand Duke Rudolph's own detective. What folly fell to go and tell? What folly fell to go and tell? What to anyone's detective? What folly fell out what to tell to anyone's detective? You pull pretense, you open hands with no pretense, you call it truth, smoke and trade or spade, it's not the proper pencil stuff. Back up at once and off we go, and as you're anxious to exhibit our very bones all in a row, strike up upon the house and gin it. And with one fall, so we go, with one fall, so we go, with one side off we go.
The nice mess you've got us into says an end to our precious plot.
But fancy my choosing the Grand Duke's private detective of all men to make a confidant of. When you come to think of it, it's really devilish funny.
When you come to think of it, it's extremely injudicious to omit it on a conspiracy every pudding-headed baboon who presents himself.
Ludwig is far from being a baboon. Poor boy. He couldn't help but give us away. It's his trusting nature. He was deceived.
His trusting nature. Oh, I should like to speak to you in my own language for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. I know some good, strong, energetic English remarks that would shrivel your trusting nature into raisins.
I suppose you'll never
You
be...
wouldn't understand them.
And I suppose you'll never be my Grand Duchess now.
My good friend, if you don't produce the piece, how can I play the part?
True. You see what you've done?
My good sir, you don't seem to understand the fact that the man ate 3 sausage rolls. Keep that fact steadily before you. 3 large sausage rolls.
Lots of people eat sausage rolls who are not conspirators.
Then they shouldn't. It's bad war. It's not the game. When one of the human family proposes to eat a sausage roll, it is his duty to ask himself, am I a conspirator? And if on examination he finds out that he is not a conspirator, he is bound in honor to select some other form of refreshment.
Of course he is. One must always play the game. What are you grinning at?
Oh, don't mind me. It is always amusing to the legal minds to see a parcel of laymen bothering themselves about a matter which, to a trained lawyer, presents no difficulty whatever.
No difficulty!
None whatever. The way out of it is quite simple.
Simple?
Certainly. Now, attention. In the first instance, you 2 men fight a statutory duel.
A statutory duel?
A statutory duel? Ach, what a crackjaw language this German is.
Never heard of such a thing.
But all the laws at Pfennig Halbpfennig run for 100 years, when they die a natural death, unless, in the meantime, they have been revived for another century. The act that institutes the statutory duel was passed a century ago, and as it has never been revived, it expires tomorrow. So you're just in time.
But what is the use of talking to us about statutory duels when we none of us know what a statutory duel is?
Don't you? Then I'll explain. In song. About a century since, the code of the duello, to sudden death for want of breath, sent many a strapping fellow. The then presiding prince, who useless bloodshed hated, he passed an act short and compact, which may be briefly stated. Unlike the complicated laws a parliamentary draftsman draws, it may be briefly stated. In those complicated laws a parliamentary draftsman draws cannot be briefly stated. By this ingenious law, if any 2 should quarrel, they may not fight with falchions bright, which seem to him immoral, but each a card shall draw, and he who draws the lowest shall, so 'twas said, be henceforth dead, in fact, a legal goest. When exigence of rhyme compels, orthography forgoes her spells, and ghost is written goeth.
This part and emphasis it dwells upon orthography and spells that kind of one's the lowest.
When off the losers popped by pleasing legal fiction, and friend and foe have wept their woe in counterfeit affliction, the winner must adopt the loser's poor relations, discharge his debts, pay all his bets, and take his obligations. The winner must adopt the loser's poor relations, discharge his debts, pay all his bets, discharge his debts, pay all his bets, and take his obligations. In short, to briefly sum the case, the winner takes the loser's place with all its obligations.
How neatly lawyers say to this, the winner takes the loser's place with all its obligations. How neatly lawyers say to case, the winner takes the loser's place. How neatly lawyers say to case, the winner takes the loser's place with all its obligations. Obligations!
The man who draws the lowest card
Dies, ipso facto, a social death. He loses all his civil rights, his identity disappears, the revising barrister expunges his name from the list of voters, and the winner takes his place, whatever it may be, discharges all his functions, and adopts all his responsibilities.
Well, this is all very well as far as it goes, but it only protects one of us. What's to become of the survivor?
Well, that's a very good point, because I might be the survivor.
The survivor goes at once to the Grand Duke and, in a burst of remorse, denounces the dead man as the moving spirit of the plot. He is accepted as king's evidence and, as a matter of course, receives a free pardon. Tomorrow, when the law expires, the dead man will, ipso facto, come to life again. The revising barrister will restore his name to the list of voters, and he will resume all his obligations as if nothing unusual had ever happened.
Then he will at once be arrested, tried, and executed on the evidence of the informer. Candidly, my friend, I don't think much of your plot.
Dear, dear, dear. The ignorance of the laity. My good girl, it is a beautiful maxim of our glorious Constitution that a man can only die once. Death expunges crime, and when he comes to life, it will be with a clean slate.
It's really very ingenious.
My dear sir, we owe you our lives.
May I kiss him?
Certainly not.
Altogether, it is a great improvement on the old method of giving satisfaction.
Strange the view some people hold, two young fellows quarrel, then they fight, for both are bold, rage of both is uncontrolled, both are fresh, are solid and cold, really where's the moral? Ding ding dong, ding dong dong, ding ding dong, ding dong dong. There's an end to further action, and this barbarous transaction is destroyed the satisfaction. Ha 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 ha! Satisfaction. Ding ding dong, ding ding dong, ding ding dong, ding ding dong. Is society uphold? Who suppose the method hold? Strings of strings of views some people hold. Oh, strange the views in ding dong ding song ding dong dong ding dong dong.
Now take a chord and gaily sing how little you care for fortune's rubs.
I draw a king! King's corner! Kings and hearts and diamond spades and clubs and hearts and diamond spades and clubs. I'm straight to think I stole a king and exit cut my chance to date. Sing diamonds, hearts and spades and clubs. Diamonds, hearts and clubs and spades. Sing hearts and diamond spades, clubs. Sing diamonds, hearts and clubs and spades. Sing hearts and diamond spades and clubs. Sing hearts and spades.
Now take a chord with heart of grace, whatever fits, let play our parts.
Hurrah, hurrah, I'm drawn an ace. An ace. An drawn an ace. Sing hearts and diamonds, spades and clubs. Sing hearts and diamonds, spades and clubs. He's drawn an ace. I'm service ace. A track of fortune falls to view. Sing diamonds, hearts and spades and clubs. Diamonds, hearts and clubs and spades. Sing hearts and diamonds, spades and clubs. Sing diamonds, hearts and clubs and spades. Sing hearts and diamonds, spades and clubs. Sing hearts and spades.
That both these maids may keep their troth and never misfortune them before, I'll hold them as trustee for both.
You hold both, you hold them both. Yes, you hold them both. Sing hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades and law. Sing hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades and law. By joint decree as Majesty is so today will now and so. In custody let you give the hearts by joint decree as Majesty is so today will now and so. As our trustee, sing diamonds, hearts and spades and clubs. Diamonds, hearts and clubs.
diamonds fate and lost in diamonds, hearts and gold. Hearts and gold.
Dignified formality, consistent with economy, a bar full of the virtues I particularly prize. I never join in merriment, I don't see joke or japery. I never tolerate familiarity in shapery, disjoined with an extravagant respect for tuppence halfpenny. A keynote to my character sufficiently supplies. Observe my snuff box. Keynote to my character supplies. I weigh out tea and sugar with precision mathematical. Instead of beer, a penny each. My orders are emphatical. Extravagance unpardonable. Any more than that I call. But on the other hand, my ducal dignities to keep. For courtly ceremonial, to put it comprehensively, I rigidly insist upon them, not, I hope, offensively. Whenever ceremonial can be practiced inexpensively, and when you come to think of it, it's really very cheap. Observe my handkerchief. Stately and impressive, and it's really very cheap.
My Lord Chamberlain, as you are aware, my marriage with the wealthy Baroness von Krakenfeld will take place tomorrow, and you will be good enough to see that the rejoicings are on a scale of unusual liberality. Pass that on. The sports will begin with a wedding breakfast bee. The leading pastry cooks of the town will be invited to compete, and the winner will not only enjoy the satisfaction of seeing his breakfast devoured by the Grand Ducal pair, but he would also be entitled to have the arms of Pfennig Halbpfennig tattooed between his shoulder blades. The Vice Chamberlain will see to this. All the public fountains of Speisesaal will run with Gingerbeerheim and currant vine milk at the public expense. The Assistant Vice Chamberlain will see to this. At night, everybody will illuminate, and as I have no desire to tax the public funds unduly, this will be done at the inhabitants' private expense. The Deputy Assistant Vice Chamberlain will see to this. All my Grand Ducal subjects will wear new clothes, and the Sub-Deputy Assistant Vice Chamberlain will collect the usual commission on all sales. Wedding presents, which on this occasion should be on a scale of unusual liberality, will be received at the palace at any hour of the 24. Oh, and the temporary Sub-Deputy Assistant Vice Chamberlain will sit up all night for this purpose.
Okay.
The entire population will be commanded to enjoy themselves, and with this view, the acting temporary Sub-Deputy Assistant Vice Chamberlain will sing comic songs in the marketplace from noon till nightfall. Finally, we have composed a wedding anthem with which the entire population are required to provide themselves. Can be obtained from our Grand Ducal publishers at the usual discount price, and all the chamberlains will be expected to push the sale. Right, off you go. I'm not at all comfortable. I hope I'm not doing a foolish thing in getting married. After all, it is a poor heart that never rejoices, and this wedding of mine is the first little treat I've allowed myself since my christening. Besides, Caroline's income is very considerable, and as her views on economy are quite on a par with mine, it ought to turn out well. Bless her tough old heart. She is a mean little darling. Oh, here she is now, punctual to her appointment.
Rudolph. Why? What's the matter?
I'm not quite myself, my pet. I'm a little worried and upset. I want a tonic. It's the low diet, I think. I'm afraid, after all, I shall have to take the bull by the horns and have an egg with my breakfast.
Oh, I shouldn't do anything rash, dear. Begin with a jelly bean.
I'll save it for supper. But what's that?
It's a letter which your detective asked me to hand to you. I wrapped it in yesterday's newspaper to keep it clean.
No, that's only his report. That'll keep it. I say, you've never been and bought a newspaper.
My dear Rudolph, do you think I'm mad? It came wrapped around my breakfast.
I never thought you were the sort of girl to go and buy a newspaper. Now we've got it, we might as well read it. What does it say?
Why, dear me, here's your biography. Our detested despot.
I fancy that refers to me.
And it says... Oh, but it can't be.
What can't be?
Why, it says that although you're going to marry me tomorrow, you were betrothed in infancy to the Princess of Monte Carlo.
Oh yes, that's quite right. Didn't I mention it?
Mention it, you never said a word about it.
It doesn't matter, you see, because it's practically off.
Practically off?
Yes. By the terms of the contract, the betrothal is void unless the princess marries before she is of age. Now, Her father, the prince, is stony broke and hasn't left his house for years for fear of arrest. And as the princess comes of age at 2 tomorrow, why, at 2 tomorrow, I'm a free man. So I appointed that hour for our wedding, as I should like to have as much marriage as I can get for my money.
See? Of course, if the marriage state is a happy state, it's a pity to waste any of it.
Why, every hour we delayed, I should lose a lot of you, and you should lose a lot of me.
Oh, my thoughtful darling. You ought to be very happy.
Well, if I'm not, it will be my first bad investment. Still, there is such a thing as a slump, even in matrimonials.
I often picture us in the long, dark, cold December evenings, sitting close to each other and singing impassioned duets to keep us warm, and thinking of all the lovely things we could afford to buy, if we chose, and at the same time, planning out our lives in a manner of the most rigid and exacting economy. As for a penny rule we sing, it is not reprehensive to think what joys our wealth would bring were we disposed to do the thing upon a scale extensive. Let's reach look dirt or thick and clear.
Perhaps we'll have it once a year.
You are an open-handed dear.
Though mind you, it's expensive.
No doubt it is expensive. Oh, he who has an income clear of £50,000 a year can purchase all his fancy loves, conspicuous hats,
2 shilling gloves.
2 shilling gloves.
2 shilling gloves.
Yes, think of that 2 shilling gloves. Cheap shoes and ties of gaudy hue, and Waterbury watches too. And think that he could buy the lot were he a donkey.
Which he's not. Oh no, he's not! He's not.
That kind of donkey he is not. Then let us be modestly merry, and rejoice with his airy down dairy. For to laugh and to sing is a rational thing, it's a joy you can not feel very. Then let us be modestly merry, and rejoice with his airy down dairy. For to laugh and to sing is a rational thing, it's a joy you can not feel very.
Report. What's this? A conspiracy? A conspiracy to depose me? And my private detective was so convulsed with laughter at the notion of a conspirator selecting him for a confidant that he was physically unable to arrest the malefactor. Why? Come off! This comes of engaging a detective with a keen sense of the ridiculous. In future, I'll employ none but Scotsmen. And the plot's to explode tomorrow. On my wedding day! Oh, Caroline! Caroline! This is perfectly frightful! What's to be done? I don't know. I ought to keep cool and think, but you can't think when your veins are full of hot soda water, your brain's fizzing like a firework, and all your faculties are jumbled up in a perfect whirlpool of tumblication. And I'm going to be ill. I just know it. I've been living too low. I'm going to be very ill indeed. When you find you're a broken down critter who is all in a tremble and twitter, with your palate unpleasantly bitter, as if you've just bitten a pill. When your legs are as thin as dividers, and you're plagued with unruly insiders, and your spine is all creepy with spiders, and your underpants brimming with krill. Creepy. When you've got a beehive in your head, and a sewing machine in each ear, and you feel that you've eaten your bed, and you've got a bad headache, a headache down here. When these facts are about, and these symptoms you find in your body or crown, it's a shady lookout, and you best make up your mind that you'd better lie down. Go at once and lie down. When your lips are all smeary like tallow, and your tongue is decidedly yellow, with a pint of warm oil in your swallow, and a pound of tin tacks in your chest. When you're down in the mouth with the vapors, and all over your Morris wallpapers, black beetles are carting their capers, and crawly things never at rest. Crawly things. Crawly things! When you doubt if your head is your own, and you jump when an open door slams, then you've got to a state which is known to the medical world as gingerms. If these symptoms you find in your body or head, they're not easy to quell. You may make up your mind that you're better in bed, for you're not at all well. No, you're not at all well. Not at all well.
And full pardon. They told me the Grand Duke was dancing duets in the marketplace, but I don't see him anywhere. Hello, who is this? Why, it is the Grand Duke.
Who are you, sir, who presume to address me in person? If you've something to communicate, you must fling yourself at the feet of my acting temporary sub-deputy assistant vice-chamberlain, who will fling himself at the feet of his immediate superior, and so on, with successive foot flingings throughout the various grades. In course of time, your communication will come to my august knowledge.
But when I inform your Highness that within me you see the most unhappy, the most unfortunate, the most completely miserable man in your whole dominion.
You! The most miserable man in my whole dominion? How can you sit there and have the face to say such a thing? Why, look at me! Look at me!
Well, I wouldn't be a crybaby.
A crybaby? If you had just been told you're about to be deposed tomorrow, and blown up with dynamite for all I know, wouldn't you be a crybaby? Oh, I do declare, if I could only hit upon some cheap and painless method of putting an end to an existence which has become insupportable, I would unhesitatingly adopt it.
You would? I see a magnificent way out of this. By Jupiter, I'll try it. If you really intend to escape scot-free from this unspeakably horrible catastrophe, without trouble, pain, danger, or expense, why not resort to a statutory duel?
A statutory duel?
Yes, the act is still in force, but it will expire tomorrow afternoon. You fight, you lose, you are dead for a day. Tomorrow when the act expires, you'll come to life again and resume your grand duchy as though nothing had happened. In the meantime, the explosion will have taken place, and the survivor will have had to bear the brunt of it.
That's all very well, but who'd be fool enough to be the survivor?
Actuated by an overwhelming sense of attachment to your grand ducal person, I unhesitatingly offer myself as the victim of your subject's fury.
Well, that's really very handsome, but suppose I were to win?
Oh, that's easily arranged. I'll put an ace up my sleeve, and you'll put a king up yours. When the drawing takes place, I shall seem to draw the higher card, and you the lower, and there you are.
But that's cheating.
So it is. I never thought of that.
Not that I mind, but I say, you won't take an unfair advantage of your day in office. You won't go tipping people or squandering my little savings on fireworks or other such nonsense.
I am hurt, really hurt by the suggestion.
You wouldn't like to make a deposit, perhaps? Very well. I suppose you must have your own way.
Good! I say, we must have a devil of a quarrel.
Oh, a devil of a quarrel!
Just to give colour to the thing. Shall I give you a sound thrashing before all the people? Say the word, it's no trouble.
No, I think not, though. It's very good and thoughtful of you to suggest it. Still, a devil of a quarrel.
A devil of a quarrel!
Big words, strong language, rude remarks. Oh, a devil of a quarrel.
Yep.
Come hither, all you people, when you hear the fearful news.
All the pretty women weeple, men will shiver in their shoes, and they'll all cry, Lord, defend us, when they learn the fact tremendous
That you give this man his gruel.
in a statutory duel.
This plebeian man of shoddy.
This contemptible nobody, your Grand Duke does not refuse.
Muscles in a quiver, our fate we meet with our feelings all unstrung. If our plot complete, he has managed to discover there is no retreat, there is no retreat. We shall certainly be harmed. Certainly be harmed.
Now you begin and pitch it strong. Walk into me abusively.
I've several epithets that I've reserved for you exclusively. A choice selection I have here when you are ready to begin.
No, you begin.
No, you begin.
You begin.
No, you begin. No, you begin.
As we expected,
As our little one detected.
Big bombs, small bombs, break those little ones. Put him in a pillory, with artillery.
Long swords, short swords, tough swords, and brittle ones. Frighten him to bits. Blow him into bits.
Enough, sir.
Out, sir.
You must, sir.
Get out, sir.
I hit, sir.
Take that, sir.
It's tit, sir.
Attack, sir.
It's tit, sir. Attack, sir. It's tit, sir. Attack, sir. It's
When true doughty heroes thunder, all the world is lost in wonder. Where the men they take the rules, all the words they use.
Tall snobs, small snobs, rich snobs, and needy ones.
Whom are you alluding to?
Where are you intruding to?
Fat snobs, thin snobs, swell snobs, and seedy ones.
I'd rather think you err. To whom you refer.
To you, sir.
To me, sir.
I do, sir.
See, sir.
And here, sir, great, sir.
Here, sir, a base, sir, here, sir, a base, sir, here, sir, a base, sir.
When true heroes once more saving, all the effects of it. When true heroes once more saving, all the
He has insulted me, and in a breath, mistake, fight a duel to the death.
You mean, of course, by duel, verbum sat, a statutory duel.
What is that?
According to established legal uses, a card apiece each bold disputed to as a doornail is the dog who loses. The winner steps into the dead man's shoes.
As a doornail is the dog who loses. The winner steps into the dead man's shoes.
Agreed!
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 Come the pack.
Behold it here!
I'm on the rack.
I quake with fear. First straw to you.
If that's the case, behold the king.
Behold the ace! Hurrah! Hurrah! Halloo, it's one! And wicked Rudolph's nose is one! So Ludwig has back till Rudolph comes to life again!
Which will occur tomorrow. Yes, I'll come to life tomorrow.
My Lord Grand Duke, farewell! A pleasant journey very to your convenience in yonder cemetery. No malcontents abuse you, and much distressed to lose you. You were when you were living, so liberal, so forgiving, so merciful, so gentle, so highly ornamental. And now that you have departed, you leave us broken-hearted. He's truly, 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 truly broken-hearted. He's truly, truly, truly broken-hearted. He's truly broken-hearted. Truly, truly broken-hearted. We're truly broken heart. We're truly broken hearted.
Rapscallions in penitential fires, you'll rule the ribaldry that from you falls. Tomorrow afternoon the law expires, and then look out for squads.
You've done it neatly. Pity that your powers are limited to for 20 hours.
No matter, though the time will quickly run. In hours 24, much may be done. Oh, a monarch who boasts intellectual graces can do if he likes a good deal in a day. Could put all his friends in conspicuous places with plenty to eat and with nothing to pay. You tell me no doubt with unpleasant grimaces. Tomorrow deprived of your ribbons and laces, you'll get your dismissal with very long faces. But wait on that topic, I've something to say. I've something to say. I've something to say. It's something to say. Oh, our rules shall be merry. I'm not an ascetic and while sometimes we will get about hay by a pushing and monarch of turn energetic, but very rich till may be done in a day. Oh, it's will be merry. It's not an ascetic and while sometimes we will get about hay by a pushing and monarch of turn energetic, but very rich till may be done in a day. For instance, this measure his ancestors ruled. This law against pupils tomorrow will die. The Duke will revive and he'll certainly rue it. He'll give you what for and to let you know why. But in 24 hours there's time to renew it. With a century's life I've the right to imbue it. It's easy to do, and by jingo I'll do it. It's done till I perish. Your monarch am I, your monarch am I, your monarch am I. Oh, monarch is he. Though I do not pretend to be very prophetic, I fancy I know what you're going to say. By a pushing on monarch of turn energetic, a very great till may be done in a day. Oh, it's simply uncanny, his power prophetic, his very keep up, we're going to say. By a pushing on monarch of turn energetic, a very great till may be done in a day. This very afternoon at 2 about, the court appointments will be given out to each and all, for that was the condition, according to professional position. Hurrah, hurrah! What's the matter?
professional position,
According to professional position,
then horror, 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 horror.
why, what's the matter, what's the matter, what's the matter, what's the matter?
Oh, pity me, my comrades true, all others well I know you do this gentle child, to me so fondly dear.
Why, what's the matter?
What's the matter?
Each sympathetic heart will bruise when you have heard the frightful news. Oh, love for him is all in all a cursed fate, that it should fall onto my lot to break my darling's heart.
Well, what's the matter?
What's the matter?
Our duty, if revised, we never shun. This Spartan rule applies to everyone. In theatres as in life, each has a line. This part is the Grand Duke's wife.
Well, what's the matter?
Oh, agony is mine.
Oh, that's the matter, is it?
A maxim you I do not start. The canons of dramatic art decree that this repulsive part, the Grand Duke's wife, is mine. Can this be so?
I do not know, but time will show if this be so.
Time will show if this be so.
Oh, listen to me, dear. I love him, my darling. Remember, oh, my pet, on him my heart is set. This kindness to me, dear, oh, if I love me, darling, be merciful, my pet, on him my love be set.
Now don't be foolish, dear. You couldn't play it, darling. It's leading business, pet, and your matters so great. So don't be mulish, dear. Although I say it, darling, it's not your line, my pet. I play that part, you bet. I play it. I play that part, you bet. You bet. You bet.
The lady's right. The lady's right. Though Julia's engagement was for the stage meant, it certainly frees Ludwig from his connubial promise. Though marriage contracts, or whatever you call them, are very solemn, dramatic contracts which you all adore so are even more so.
The marriage contracts are very solemn, dramatic contracts are even more so.
The die is cast, my hopes have perished. Farewell, O past, too bright to last, yet fondly cherished. My hopes have fled, my life is dead. Its storm has spoken. My day is night.
My day is
My
night.
wrong is right. Is right in my heart is broken, is broken. My heart is broken.
held. Where will she go? What will she do?
That isn't in your part, you know.
Quite true. Depressing topics we'll not touch upon. Let us begin as we are going on. For this will be a jolly call for little and for big. Sing hey the jolly jinks are very how very. From morn to night our lives shall be as merry as a green. Sing hey the jolly jinks are very how very. All state and ceremony will eternally abolish. We don't need to insist upon unnecessary polish. And on the whole I'd rather think of finer root to knowledge. Sing hey the jolly jinks are very how very. The jolly jolly jinks, the jolly jolly jinks, the jolly jolly jinks, the jolly jolly jinks, the jolly 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 jinks. For this will be a jolly call for little and for big. Sing hey the jolly jinks are very how very. From as merry as a green. Sing hey the jolly jinks are very how very.
But stay, when we make court without a courtly courtiers, we shall require some court attire, and at a moment's notice, in clothes of common sort, your courtiers must not grovel, your new noblesse must have a glimpse original and novel.
Now let us guess what kind of dress will be bonite and novel.
Old Athens, let's exhume the necessary dresses, correct and true and all brand new the company possesses. Henceforth our court costume shall live in song and story, for we'll appraise the dead old days of Athens in her glory.
Yes, let's appraise the dead old days of Athens in her glory. Hurrah, 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 agreed, agreed, agreed.
Oh, this will be a jolly call for little and for big. Sing hey the jolly jinks are very how very. From most matter lives will be as merry as a green. Sing hey the jolly jinks are very how very. Sing hey the jolly jinks, the jolly jolly jinks. Sing hey the jolly jolly jinks. Sing hey, sing hey, sing hey. The jolly jinks are very how very. The jolly jolly jinks, the jolly jolly jinks, the jolly 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 jinks. royalty our ducal heartstrings touches. Allow me to present your new Grand Duchess. Should she offend, you'll graciously excuse her, and kindly recollect, I didn't choose her. At the outset I may mention it's my sovereign intention to revive the classic memories of Athens at its best. For the company possesses all the necessary dresses, and a course of quiet cramming will supply us with the rest. We've a choir hypogrammatic, that is ballet operatic, who responds to the corrupting of the cultivated age. And our clever chorus master, all but captious criticaster, would accept as the choreogos of the early Attic stage. This return to classic ages is considered in their wages, which are always calculated by the day or by the week. And they'll pay them if they'll back me, all in oboloi and drachmi, which they'll get if they prefer it at the calends that are Greek. At this juncture I may mention that this erudition sham is but classical pretension, the result of steady cram. Yet my classical aggressive, if you'll pardon the possessive, is exceedingly impressive when you're passing an exam.
Yet it's classical aggressive, if you're pardon the possessive, is exceedingly impressive when you're passing an exam.
In the period Socratic, every dining room was attic, which suggests an architecture of a topsy-turvy kind. There they'd satisfy the twist on a recherche called Ariston, which is what they called their luncheon, so may you, if you're inclined. As they gradually got there, they'd try pasta rosto roto, which is attic for a steady and a conscientious drink. And they'd mix their wine with water, which I'm sure they did in order, and we modern Saxons know a trick with two of that, I think. Then came rather risky dances under certain circumstances, which would shock that worthy gentlemen of the licensed place. Coravantian maniac, Dionysiac or Bacchic, and the dithyrambic revels of those underchorus days. Perhaps I better mention, lest alarming you I am, that it isn't our intention to perform a dithyram. It displays a lot of stocking, which is always very shocking, and of course I'm only mocking at the prevalence of cram.
It displays a lot of stocking, which is always very shocking, and of course he's only mocking at the prevalence of cram.
Yes, on reconsideration, there are customs of that nation which are not in strict accordance with the habits of our day. And when I come to quantify their rules and aim to modify on Mrs. Grundy, perhaps may know what I do to say. For they had macintoshes or umbrellas or galoshes, and the shower with their dresses must have played the very deuce. And it must have been amazing when they caught a bit of sneezing, but it seems the pocket handkerchiefs they didn't know they used. They wore little underclothing, scarcely anything or nothing, and their dress of Cohen silk was quite transparent in design. Well, in fact, in summer weather, something like the altogether, and it's there I rather fancy I shall have to draw the line. And again I wish to mention that this erudition sham is but classical pretension, the result of steady cram. Yet my classic law aggressive, if you'll pardon the possessive, is exceedingly impressive when you're passing an exam.
Yet it's classic law aggressive, if you'll pardon the possessive, is exceedingly impressive when you're passing an exam.
Yes, Ludwig and his Julia mated. For when an obscure comedian whom the law backs to sovereign rank is promptly elevated, he takes it with its incidental drawbacks. So Julia and I are duly mated.
Take care of him. He's much too good so highly sensitive and so sentimental. We shall never let him sit up late in chilly open air conversing. Oh, darling, is extremely delicate and wants a deal of nursing.
I want a deal of nursing.
And oh, remember this, when he is crossed with pain, a flower and a kiss, a simple flower, a tender kiss, will bring him round again. His moods you must assiduously watch when he succumbs to sorrow tragic. Some heartache or a beat of butterscotch will work on him like magic. Talk and predict a character so rich, intimacy, love, with simple blindness. He's one of those exalted natures which will only yield to kindness.
I only yield to kindness.
I know the bygone bliss, I know the present pain, that flower and that kiss, that simple flower, that tender kiss. I now shall give.
For now that everybody has gone, and we are happily and comfortably married, I want to have a few words with my newborn husband.
Well, what is it?
Well, I've been thinking that as we have to play our parts for life, it is most essential that we come to a definite understanding as to how I can make the most of the part of the Grand Duchess.
Well, if you'll take my advice, you'll make a very fine part of it.
Why, that's quite my idea.
I shouldn't make her one of your hoity-toity, vixenish viragos.
You think not?
I'm quite sure about that. I would make her a tender, gentle, submissive, affectionate, but not too affectionate, child wife, timidly anxious to coil herself into her husband's heart. A crushed, despairing violet, whose blighted existence would culminate all too soon in a lonely and pathetic death scene. A fine part, my dear.
There's a good deal to be said for your view of it. Now there are some actresses for whom it would fit like a glove.
Wish I'd married one of them.
But you see, I must consider my temperament. For instance, my temperament would demand some strong scenes of justifiable jealousy.
Oh, there's no difficulty about that. You shall have them.
If there's a lovely but detested rival,
I'll provide the rival.
whom I should stab.
I wouldn't stab her. It's been done to death. I would treat her with a silent and contemptuous disdain and delicately withdraw from a position which, to one of your sensitive nature, would be absolutely untenable. Dear me, I can see you delicately withdrawing, up center and off. some consider it from this dainty point of view. A timid, tender, feminine gender prompts to coining cool. Yet silence seeking, seldom speaking till she's spoken to. Ah, comfy, cozy, rosy, posy, innocent ingenue. The part you're suited to give the deuces due. A sweet, oh Jiminy, bimini, bimini, innocent ingenue.
I march obliged to you, I don't think that would do. To say, oh Jiminy, bimini, bimini, innocent ingenue. You forget my special magic in a high dramatic sense lies in situations tragic, undeniably intense. As I've justified promotion in the histrionic art, I'll submit to you my notion of a first-rate part.
Well, let us see your notion of a first-rate part.
I have a rival, frenzy thrilled. I find you both together. My heart stands still, this horror chilled, hard as the millstone nether. Then, softly, slyly, snaily, snaky, crawly, caveepy, cavally, cavapy, I track her on her homeward way, as Panther tracks her fated prey. I fly at her soft bite's throat, the lily-bite laughing leman. On her agonized gaze I gloat, with the glee of a dancing demon. My rival she, I have no doubt of her, so I hold on till the breath is out of her, till the breath is out of her. Und then, remorse, remorse, oh cold, unpleasant cause! Avaunt, that lifeless form I gaze upon, that face still warm, weirdly wan, those eyes of glass I contemplate. Then, alas, too late, I find she is your aunt. Then mad, with fancies wild, chimerical, now sorrowful, silent, sad, now hullabaloo, hysterical. But was it I'm sad, or was it I'm glad? Mad, 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 mad. These calls for the resources of a high class art and satisfies my notion of a first-rate part.
And satisfies my notion of a first-rate part. Your Highness, there's a party at the door. Your Highness, at the door there is a party. She sits at the expectant, but we do not recollect, for we never saw her countenance before. With rage and indignation she is rife, because her welcome wasn't very hearty. She's as sulky as a super, and she's swearing like a trooper. You've never heard such language in your life. You've never heard such language in your life.
Fury indescribable, I burn with rage, I'm nearly ready to explode. There'll be grief and tribulation when I learn to whom this light unbearable is owed. For whatever may be due, I'll pay it double. There'll be terror indescribable and trouble with a honey bunny and a hubble bubble. I'll pay you for this pretty episode.
But whatever may be due, she'll pay it double. It's very good of her to take the trouble, but we don't know what she means by hubble bubble. That is an expression, Alan.
Do you know who I am?
I don't your countenance I can't fix, my dear.
Proves I'm not a sham.
It only says crack and 36, my dear.
Express your grief profound.
I shan't this tone, I never allow, my love.
Rudolph at once produce.
I can't, he isn't at home just now, my love.
He isn't at home just now.
He isn't at home just now. He has to look at particular very often. I think he is cemetery, and that's how we come to be making so merry. For he isn't at home just now. He isn't at home just now.
God bless my heart and soul and life. It's impudence personified. I come here to be matrimonially matrimonified.
For any disappointment, I am sorry unaffectedly. But yesterday that nobleman expired quite unexpectedly.
Toll-a-riddle, 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 toll-a-riddle.
Is this court mourning or a fancy ball?
Well, it's a delicate combination of both effects. It is intended to express inconsolable grief for the decease of the late Duke and ebullient joy at the accession of his successor. I am his successor. Permit me to present to you my Grand Duchess.
Your Grand Duchess! A recent creation, probably.
We were married only half an hour ago.
Yes, I thought she seemed new to the position.
Ma'am, I don't know who you are, but I flatter myself I can do justice to any part at the very shortest notice.
Oh, my dear, under the circumstances, you are doing admirably. And you'll improve with practice. It's so difficult to be a lady when one isn't born to it.
Am I to stand this? Am I not to be allowed to pull her to pieces?
No, it isn't Greek. Be a violet, I beg.
And now, tell me all about this distressing circumstance. How did the Grand Duke die?
He perished nobly in a statutory duel.
In a statutory duel. But that's only a civil death, and the act expires tonight, and he will come to life again.
Well, no. Anxious to inaugurate my reign by conferring some inestimable boon on my people, I signalized the occasion by reviving the law for another 100 years.
For another 100 years? Then set the merry joy bells ringing. Let festive epithalamia resound through these ancient halls. Cut the satisfying sandwich, broach the exhilarating masala, and let us rejoice today, if we never rejoice again.
But I don't think I quite understand you. We have already rejoiced a great deal.
Happy man, you little wreck of the good things you are in for. When you killed Rudolph, you adopted all his overwhelming responsibilities. Know then that I, Caroline von Krakenfeld, am the most overwhelming of them all.
Stop, I've just been married to somebody else.
Yes, ma'am, to somebody else, ma'am. Do you understand, ma'am? To somebody else.
Do keep this young woman quiet. She fidgets me.
Fidgets you!
Be a violet, a crushed, despairing violet.
But do you suppose that I intend to give up this magnificent part without a struggle?
My good girl, she has the law on her side. Let us both bear this calamity with resignation. If you must struggle, go away and struggle in the seclusion of your chamber.
Now wave to the wind we go, and summon the charioteers. You kind of reluctance will shout you back on our married careers. Though Julia's emotion may flow in the form of impetuous tears. To a wedding we legally go, so summon the charioteers.
To the wedding we legally go, so summon the charioteers.
supreme has faded into air. All is dark sun, all is dreary, broken every promise blighted, sad and sorry, weak and weary, every newborn hope is blighted. Tis a friend, oh, tis the foe. Shall I call upon thee? No. I will go on living, so sad and sorry, weak and weary. Death's a friend, oh, death's the foe. Shall I call upon thee? No. I will go on living, so sad and sorry, weary and weak. Sad and sorry, weak and weary. Sad and sorry, weak and weary. I will go on living, sad and sorry, sad and sorry, sad and sorry, weak and weary. No, 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 it's a bygone goodbye, for no good ever came of declining. If today are the clouds or the skies, then tomorrow the sun may be shining. Tomorrow be kind, tomorrow to me, this loyalty blind, I'm only to see. Tomorrow be kind, tomorrow to me, this loyalty blind, I'm only to see. Today is a day of illusion and sorrow, so viva tomorrow. God save you tomorrow, your servant 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 tomorrow. Your servant tomorrow.
Oh, it's of no use. I can't wait any longer. At any risk, I must gratify my urgent desire to know what is going on. What's that? Surely I see a wedding procession winding down the hill. Dressed in my Troilus and Cressida costumes. That's Ludwig's doing. I see how it is. He found the time hang heavy on his hands and is amusing himself by marrying Lisa. But no, it can't be to Lisa, for here she is.
No, I really can't bear seeing my Ludwig married twice in one day to somebody else.
Lisa! What's the matter with the little donkey? One would think she saw a ghost. But if he's not marrying Lisa, then whom is he marrying? Julia! I see it all. The scoundrel! He had to adopt all my responsibilities, and he has shabbily taken advantage of the situation to marry the girl I am engaged to. But no, it can't be to Julia. Here she is.
I've made up my mind. I've unstaundet. I will send in my notice at once.
Julia! Don't run away! Listen to me. Are you all crazy?
What would you with me, Spectre? Oh, ain't his eyes sepulchral, and ain't his voice hollow? What are you doing out of your tomb at this time of day? Apparition?
I do wish I could make you girls understand that I'm only technically dead, and that physically I'm as much alive as I ever was in my life.
But it's an awful thing to be haunted by a technical body.
Well, you won't be haunted much longer. The law must be on its last legs, and in a few hours I shall come to life again, resume all my social and civil functions, and claim my darling as my blushing bride.
Then you haven't heard. Ludwig challenged Rudolf and Van, and now he's Grand Duke, and he revives the law for another century.
What, you're not serious? You're only joking.
My good sir, I'm a light-hearted girl, but I don't chaff bogies.
Well, that's the meanest dodge I've heard of.
Shabby trick, I call it.
But you don't mean to say that you're going to cry off?
I really can't afford to wait until your time is up. I've always set my face against long engagements.
Well, then defy the law and marry me now. And we can fly to your native country, and I will play broken English in London, as you play broken German here.
No, these legal technicalities cannot be defied. Situated as you are, you cannot make me your wife. At best, you can only make me your widow.
Then be my widow, my little dainty, winning, winsome widow. If the light of love's lingering ember has faded in gloom, you cannot neglect or remember a voice from the tomb. That stern supernatural diction should act as a solemn restriction, although by a mere legal fiction, a voice from the tomb. A voice from the tomb.
I own that utterance chills me, it fizzles my bloom. This awful emotion, it thrills me, that voice from the tomb. Oh, Spectre won't anything lazy, so pay to deny or gainsay thee. In this case I cannot obey thee. The voice from the tomb. The voice from the tomb.
The voice from the tomb. From the
Spectre upon I bid you good day. Perhaps you'll be calling when passing this way. You're born and storming and all you'll have learning. I bid you good morning, I bid you good day. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good day. Oh, so Spectre appalling, I bid you
my
good day.
offer recalling your words I obey. Your fate is appalling and full of dismay. To pay for this scorning, I give you fair warning. I'll haunt you each morning, each night and each day. I'll haunt you morning, night and day.
Spectre appalling, I bid you good day.
To pay for this scorning, I give you warning. I'll
Morning, I'm storming and all you'll have learning. I bid you good
each morning, each night and each day. Each morning, each morning, each morning, each morning, I'll haunt you each night and each day. I'll haunt you each night and day.
Champagne. Let us make of this moment the most we may now be
before. Old wine is a true panacea for every conceivable ill. When you cherish the soothing idea that somebody else pays the bill. Old wine is a pleasure that's hollow. When at your own table you sit, for you're thinking each mouthful you swallow has cost you a threepenny bit. So bark as I am so big, and beg if you will many more. This wine doesn't cost us a penny, though it's Pommery 74.
So bark as I am so many, and then if you will many more. This wine doesn't cost us a penny, though it's Pommery 74.
I once gave an evening party, a sandwich and cut orange ball. But my guests had such appetite hearty that I couldn't enjoy it at all. I made a heroic endeavor to look unconcerned, but in vain. And I vowed that I never would ask anybody again. But there's a distinction decided, a difference truly immense, when the wine that you drink is provided at somebody else's expense. So proud as I am so many, else can we safely ignore. For the wine doesn't cost us a penny, though it's Pommery 74. So bump as I am so many, so our cost we may safely ignore. For the wine doesn't cost us a penny, though it's Pommery 74.
Why, who is this approaching? Upon our joy encroaching? Some rascal come approaching, whose heard that wine we're broaching.
Who may this be?
Who may this be?
Who may this be?
Who may this be?
Who is he?
Who is he?
Who is he?
The Prince of Monte Carlo, from Mediterranean water, has come in to bestow on you his beautiful daughter. They've paid off all they owe, as every statesman utter, that Prince of Monte Carlo and his beautiful daughter.
The Prince of Monte Carlo
From Mediterranean water,
has come here to bestow
on you his beautiful daughter.
They paid off all they owe.
As every statesman utter, that Prince of Monte Carlo
And his beautiful daughter.
The Prince of Monte Carlo, who is so very particular, as else that you're also for ceremonious stickler. Therefore, he lets you know, by word of mouth or the clerk, that Prince of Monte Carlo, who is so very particular.
that Prince of Monte Carlo
From Mediterranean water,
Has told me to bestow on you
his beautiful daughter.
they paid off all they owe.
As every statesman daughter,
That Prince of Monte Carlo
and his beautiful
Daughter,
daughter.
his beautiful daughter.
That Prince of Monte Carlo, it's your beautiful daughter.
Midas we know not, nor the locality in which is situate his principality. But as he guesses by some odd fatality, this is the shop for cut and dried formality. Let him out here, he'll find that we're remarkable for cut and dried formality. Concealing ourselves from a night without the cue, spring out on him, you all know what to do!
Magnificent array. Our own clothes are much gloomy in costumes which we've hired by the day from a very well-known costumier.
I am a very well-known costumier.
It's a rule that never varies, so we've engaged from the theatre now. They call 6 supernumeraries.
With supernumeraries,
At a salary immense, quite regardless of expense. 6 supernumeraries. 6 supernumeraries.
They do not speak, for they break a grammar's laws, and their langage is lamentable, and they never take off their gloves because their nails are not presentable.
our nails are not presentable.
To account for these shortcomings manifest, we explain in whisper bated. There was in members of the brewing and terrace to the peerage elevated.
To the peerage elevated,
They are very, very rich, and accordingly as such, to the peerage elevated, elevated.
Well, my dear, here we are at last, just in time to compel Duke Rudolph to fulfill the terms of his marriage contract. Another hour, and we should have been too late.
Yes, Papa. And if you had not fortunately discovered a means of making an income by honest industry, we should never have got there at all.
Very true. Confined for the last 2 years within the precincts of my palace by an obdurate bootmaker who held a warrant for my arrest, I devoted my enforced leisure to a study of the doctrine of chances. Mainly with a view of ascertaining whether there was the remotest chance of my ever going out for a walk again. This led to the discovery of a singularly fascinating little round game which I have called roulette. And by which, in one sitting, I won no less than 5,000 francs. My first act was to pay my bootmaker. My second was to engage a good, useful, working set of second-hand novels. And my third was to hurry you off to Pfennig as fast as a train de luxe could carry us.
Yes, and a pretty job lot of second-hand novels you've scraped together.
I don't know, I should say tolol, my love, only tolol. They are not wholly satisfactory. There is a certain air of unreality about them. They are not convincing.
But, my good friend, what can you expect for 18 pence a day?
Now take this peer, for instance. What the deuce do you call him?
Him? Oh, he's a schmel. He's a Duke of Riviera.
Oh, he's a duke, is he? Well, there's no reason why he should look so confoundedly haughty. Be affable, sir. Oh, that's better. Oh, now, who's this with his moustache coming off?
You're Viscount Mentoni, ain't you?
Oh, blessed if I know. Let's see. Oh, yes, it's wrote here. Viscount Mate One.
Then why didn't you say so? Hold yourself up. You're not carrying sandwich boards now. You're not. You're not. You're not.
Now, listen, you peers, very carefully. I shall say this only once. When his highness arrives, don't stand like sticks, but appear to take an intelligent and sympathetic interest in what is going on. You needn't say anything, but let your gestures be in accordance with the spirit of the conversation. Now, take the word from me. Affability. Submission. Surprise. Shame. Grief. Joie. Oh, that's better. You can do it if you like.
But Papa, where in the world is the cart? There is positively no one here to receive us. I can't help feeling that Rudolph wants to get out of it because I'm poor. He's a miserly little wretch, that's what he is.
Do not go so far as to say that, my love. I should rather describe him as an enthusiastic collector of coins. It's a pity, I've often thought I should like to collect some coins myself.
Papa, I'm sure there's someone behind that curtain. I saw it move.
Then they must be coming. Now, mind, you peers. Haughty affability combined with a sense of what is due to your exalted ranks, I'll fine you half a franc each. Upon my soul, I will.
For the reception of visitors of the very highest distinction.
It's very quaint. It's very curious indeed. Prettily footed. Prettily footed.
Would you like to see how we say goodbye to visitors of distinction? That ceremony is also performed with the foot.
Really, this tone. But perhaps you have not completely grasped the situation.
Not altogether.
Then I'll give you a lead over. I am the father of the Princess of Monte Carlo. Doesn't that convey any idea to the Grand Ducal mind?
Nothing definite.
It's very odd. Then maybe we'll try again. This is the daughter of the Prince of Monte Carlo. Do you think?
No, go on, don't give up. I dare say it will come presently.
Indeed, never mind, we'll try again. Alors, 20 years ago, two little doddle, happy father, hers and yours, proud mother, yours and hers. And now you take, I see you do.
Nothing is more annoying than to feel you're not equal to the intellectual pressure of the conversation.
You did not expect me.
Oh no, I did not expect you.
I thought not, but at last I have escaped from my enforced restraint. No. You misunderstand me. I mean, I've paid my debts. And how do you think I did it? Through the medium of roulette.
Roulette?
I'll explain. It's an invention of my own. I'll tell you all about it in song. Take my advice, when deep in debt, set up a bank and play roulette. Once to trust you surely learn, and rook the pigeon and the gull. The bird will stake is every franc in wild attempt to wreck the bank. But you mistake your life and limb, the bank will end by breaking him. Dans un cœur, garçon fillette, mon louis d'or avant le charrette. Voilà. Mais faites vos jeux, alors je casse le corps, je passe, l'amour se casse. Rien va plus. Le 17 mois, un père et manque. Voilà, vive la banque. For every time the board you spin, the bank is bound to win.
For every time the board you spin, the bank is bound to win. A cosmic game is a roulette. The little rose a true coquette, a maiden coy numbers who 6 and 30 suited sue. Of all complexions to good luck, for some are red and some are black, and some must be extremely green, for half of them are not 19.
Alors un cœur, garçon fillette, mon louis d'or avant le charrette. Voilà. Mais faites vos jeux, alors la foule, ça roule, le temps s'écoule. Rien va plus. Le 35 rouge, un père et passe, bien étudiant de la classe. The more safe when you begin, the bank is bound to win.
The more safe when you begin, the bank is bound to win.
The little ball's a flirt inbred, she flirts with black, she flirts with red.
From this to that she ups the box and back to this as if in doubt.
To call us thoughtless were unkind.
The child is making up her mind.
For all the world like all the rest, which prétendant will pay the best. Allons encore, garçon fillette, pour louis d'or avant le charrette. Hola. Mais faites vos jeux, pièce de vie, vendredi, et les jolis. Rien va plus. Tralala, le double zéro, pour qu'elle comme un horaire. Where at last the ball pops in, the bank is bound to win.
Where at last the ball pops in, the bank is bound to win.
Capital game, haven't a penny left.
Pretty little toys, did have another turn.
Thanks, no, I should only be robbing you.
Do dearest, it's such fun. Oh, you forward little hussy! How dare
You mustn't do that, my dear, never in the presence of the Grand Duchess.
Papa, he's got a Grande Duchesse.
Oh, Grande Duchesse? My good girl, I've got 3 Grande Duchesses.
Well, I'm sure. Papa, let's go away. This is not a respectable car.
All these grand dukes have their little fancies, my love. This potentate appears to be collecting wives. It's a pretty hobby. I've often thought I should like to collect some myself. This is a charming specimen. An antique, I should say. Early Merovingian period. And here's another. Oh, a Scottish lady, I think. The little one thrown in. Have you such a thing as a catalogue of the museum?
Mean to Rudolph to keep a museum.
Rudolph, get along with you. I'm not Rudolph. Rudolph died yesterday.
What?
Quite suddenly. Of a cardiac affection.
Of a cardiac affection?
A pack of cardiac affection. He fought a statutory duel with me and lost, and I inherited all his engagements, including this imperfectly preserved old lady to whom he has been engaged for the last 3 weeks.
3 semaines? But I've been engaged to him for the last 20 ans. 20 years!
That's true, my love, they can't get over that. He's yours. Take him and hold him as tight as you can.
My own
Here's another. The fourth in 4 and 20 hours. Would anybody else like to marry me? You, Mum. Anybody? I'm getting used to it.
But let me tell you, Ma, you impudent little hussy.
Oh, here's another.
Poor ladies, I'm really very sorry for you all, but you see, I've a prior claim. Come, away we go. There's not a moment to be lost.
Hurrah, 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 hurrah!
Not late as a wedding we goes, it summons the charioteers. No climb, no reluctance we show to embark on our married careers.
Forbear! 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 This may not be. Frustrated are your plans with paramount decree. The law forbids the bands. The law forbids the bands. The law forbids the bands.
Well, you're a pretty sort of fellow, thus my life to shatter, oh. My little store of gold and silver recklessly you scatter, oh. You guzzle and you gourmandize all day with cup and platter, oh. You eat my food and drink my wine, especially the latter, oh.
The latter, especially the latter, especially the latter.
But when compared with other crimes for which shall head a matter, oh, this liberty-jibbity kind of a liberty scarcely seems to matter, oh.
But when compared with other crimes for which our heads do matter, this liberty-jibbity kind of a liberty scarcely seems to matter.
My dainty bride, my bride-elect, you wheedle and you flatter, oh. With coarse and clumsy compliment, her senses you bespatter, oh. You fascinate her tough old heart with vain and vulgar patter, oh. Although the deuce confound you, you're unworthy to look at her, oh.
But even this compared with deeds that drive me mad as hatter, oh. This liberty-jibbity kind of a liberty scarcely seems to matter, oh.
But even this compared with deeds that drive me mad as hatter, this liberty-jibbity kind of a liberty scarcely seems to matter.
For oh, you vulgar vagabond, you found to idle clatter, oh. You've done a deed on which I vow you won't get any fatter, oh. You fancy you'd revive the law, mere empty brag and chatter, oh. Although the deuce confound you, you're unworthy to look at her, oh.
For this you'll suffer agonies like rat and clutch of ratter, oh. This liberty-jibbity kind of a liberty's quite another matter, oh.
For this you'll suffer agonies like rat and clutch of ratter, this liberty-jibbity kind of a liberty's quite another matter.
There's no reason you're saying I can't revive the law, in face of the fact that I have revived it.
You didn't revive the law! You couldn't revive it! You are an imposter, sir! A toppenny rogue, sir! You never were, and in all human probability, never will be, the Grand Duke of Fenig anything! What?
Well, the fact is, there's been a little mistake here. On reference to the act that regulates statutory duels, we find it is expressly laid down that the ace should count invariably as lowest.
As lowest?
As lowest. 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 So you're the goest. Goest. Goest.
Well, as it seems, Julia, the law hasn't been revived.
Then, my objection falls to the ground. But you will promise to give me some strong scenes of justifiable jealousy.
Justifiable jealousy, but my love, I couldn't do it.
Then I won't play.
I'll do my best.
Am I to understand that I was on the point of marrying a dead man without even knowing it? Oh, my love, what a narrow escape I've had!
Why, you must be the Princess of Monte Carlo, and you've arrived just in time. I say, you are a pretty young lady, but you are as poor as a rat.
Pardon me, there you mistaken. Accept a dowry with a father's blessing.
What's this? It's my little wheel of fortune. I'll tell you all about it. In song!
Very well. But what's to become of me? You're a dead man.
Oh, but I'm not! Time's up, the act has expired, I've come to life again, the parson is still in attendance, and we'll all be married directly. Hurrah!
Happy God was gliding across the chapel, we'll be quite it shall not in the measure, as of course it's only right, as a party fight we fair, contradiction, very good will be,
Such a pretty wedding, such a pretty